Urekai. In the days of old, the Urekai stood out as the strongest and most powerful beings in the world. The ancient tongue called them fearsome beasts for. Like werewolves, they could transform into beasts. Like vampires, they consumed blood and walked among humans with no one the wiser. The ageless, peaceful, selfless beings preferred to keep to themselves. Despite being feared and distrusted, they never responded with aggression. They granted passage to any species wishing to enter their lands beyond the Great Mountain and welcomed everyone. But 5 centuries ago, an unexpected species attacked the Urekais during their one night of weakness. The humans. While protecting his people, Grand King Demonikai lost control of his mind, going feral, becoming a danger to the same people whom he had given everything to protect. Although it seemed impossible, the Urekais managed to capture their king's beast form, imprisoning him in a secure cage, ensuring he could never escape. But, consumed by hatred for humans, the Urekai plunged themselves into darkness, becoming the fearsome beasts others had always feared them to be. Wearing their monstrosity with pride. Humans. After invading the Urekais, a mysterious virus outbreak struck. No one knew where it came from, but many speculated their attack on the Urekais brought it on. While most males eventually recovered after a long struggle, the virus proved fatal for the majority of females. Survivors rarely gave birth to female children. Those left or born became scarce and sought after commodities. In many kingdoms, greedy fathers sold their daughters to breeding houses. Some were forced into pleasure houses, existing solely for men's enjoyment. Some faced terrible abuse in exchange for protection. Even the wealthy and the privileged could not guarantee the safety of the females in their lives, as the mere sight of a female, be it an infant, a young girl, or an elderly woman, drew unwanted attention. Female children face constant danger. They are not safe in the society. Prologue human land, the kingdom of Navia. It's a G-girl, your highness. Prince Garrett froze. As he turned, looking at the palace healer, his hands resting on his exhausted wife's body, shook uncontrollably. He had secretly arranged the delivery months ago, and now they were hidden in one of the underground rooms in the palace, where his beloved wife Pandora was giving birth. What did you just say to me? Prince Garrett hoped he heard wrong. Perhaps it had been a mistake. Please, gods, let it be a mistake. But the pity in the older man's face couldn't be disguised. The palace healer turned the little bundle. The baby is a girl. Terror crossed Pandora's face as she adjusted herself to get a closer look at her baby. No. Oh, the gods, please no. She shook her head vigorously, fresh tears gathering in her eyes. Tears welled in the healer's eyes. I'm so sorry, your highness. No. Pandora cried out, burying her face into her husband's waiting arms, sobs after sobs ripping from her throat. Garrett felt numb as he held his wife. His first daughter, Aekeira, wasn't even 4 yet, and the king was already negotiating with the kingdom of Kavar to sell her to the highest bidder. Because apparently Navia could use more funds. King Orestes might be Garrett's brother, but he was a tyrant and his word was law. Now another girl child? 2 daughters? Tears filled Garrett's eyes as he looked upon the crying bundle wiggling around in Healer's arms. The world was not safe for either of his daughters. I'll raise her like a boy, Pandora declared suddenly. The healer's eyes widened. Are you suggesting we keep her identity a secret? Yes, Pandora affirmed, her resolve strengthening. This child will never be seen as a girl. No one will ever find out. But it's impossible to hide something like this, your majesty. The healer panicked. The king will order our execution. Then we take the secret to our grave. Pandora's voice was fierce. I was unable to protect my first daughter, but by the light gods, I will protect my second. Too dangerous, but Garrett was all for it too. This was their best chance to keep their daughter safe, and they would take it. As far as we are concerned, the child I bore today was a male. Pandora looked at the baby. His name is Emiriel. Emiriel Galilea Evenstone. Emiriel. It's a neutral name and also means sky's protection in the old tongue. Garrett liked it. Fitting too, for their daughter would need all the luck and protection in the world. I agree. Garrett spoke aloud with the plan fully in his mind. Garrett swore the 2 other men in the room to secrecy. That night, Garrett and his wife stood by the baby's small cradle, watching their newborn sleep. Across the room, their 3-year-old daughter Aekeira lay curled under a blanket, her tiny chest rising and falling in peaceful rhythm. In all my years on this earth, I've never seen anyone bear 2 female children, Garrett? Pandora whispered, voice cracking. She glanced up at him, eyes glistening with tears. I don't know what this means for us. Or for them. Garrett placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Maybe it means they have a great destiny to fulfill. Or a great sorrow in their future. Pandora's eyes drifted to their eldest worriedly. I'm so scared for them. How could something like this happen? Perhaps you've been touched by the gods, my darling, Garrett said in comfort. I really doubt that. Why me? Why us? He had no answer to that. If that's true, Pandora sniffled, brushing her fingers over the baby's soft cheek. May that God always protect my babies. We won't always be here to do that. Garrett pulled his wife into his arms, holding her close, fighting to hide his own worry, because she was right. What were the odds of a couple in these times bearing not just 1 but 2 daughters? None. Absolutely none. As he gazed at their sleeping children, prayer rose in his heart. Whatever God you are, please protect our angels. 21 years later, Prince Emerial. He's so pretty, a voice murmured. It's the feminine prince, another one said. The third man had lust in his eyes. No man should have hair that gorgeous. Prince Emerial ignored them all as he moved from the palace grounds into the building, head held high. Just because he was used to the unwanted attention didn't mean it didn't make his skin crawl. He might have lived as a boy all his life, but it didn't exactly keep him all that safe. Men of Nivea would stick their phallus in anything with a hole, especially if it looked remotely feminine. But Emerial's senses were always on high alert, which is why he was probably the only 21-year-old virgin in Nivea. That, and his sister Princess Aekeira, always did everything in her power to protect him, to make sure his secrets remained tightly hidden. A carriage accident had taken their parents 15 years ago, and King Orestes had adopted them. That tyrant made life a living hell for them. Emerial entered the hallway to Aekeira's chambers when he heard it. Whimpers. Soft, pain-filled whimpers. That sound was coming from. Rage surged through Emerial. Not this again. Determined, he stormed down the hall and shoved the door open, unsheathing his sword. Get away from my sister right this instant, Lord Murphy, or I swear to the sky I will cut you down where you stand. Emerial snarled. The Minister of Human Affairs' face twisted with irritation, and he stopped thrusting. Go away, little prince. You're ruining the fun. Emerial hated the jab little prince, but surely not as much as he hated being called a slight prince. Over the years, Navians had given him a lot of names thanks to his small and feminine look. Get away from her right now. Emerial strode purposefully toward the bed, seizing hold of Lord Murphy and pushing him away from Aekeira. With a satisfying thud, the old oaf tumbled to the floor. Aekeira rose from the bed, clutching her vulnerable body, her face red from crying, eyes tired and swollen. Emerial pulled his sister into his arms, hugging her tightly. I'm so sorry, Kira. It was not your fault. Why the hell would you do that? Lord Murphy rose angrily. I won Princess Aekeira fair and square in the card game at the gathering last night. The king wagered with her and lost to me. I was supposed to have her for 2 hours at least. Emerial's eyes blazed as he whirled around, facing him. If you put your hands on her again, I swear to the sky I will cut off your male organ, Lord Murphy. You will not dare. I'll gladly take whatever punishment the king gives, he stated with conviction. But you will be without your manhood. Choose wisely. Lord Murphy's eyes widened, his hands flying protectively over his crotch, face reddening in anger. The king will hear of this. The minister snarled. Taking his clothes, he marched out of the room. Oh, why did you do that? Aekeira's eyes filled with worry. The king might punish you with the hot whip again. I do not care. Let us go to my room. Putting his sword away, Emerial could not even look his sister in the eyes, dangerously close to tears himself. Helping Aekeira into her clothes, he led her out, and down the hallway. That age-old guilt crept down Emerial's spine. Aekeira always protected Emerial, even when it made her the sole target. His sister never hated him, but Emerial hated himself for it. Aekeira was always bubbly and always happy, but in times like this when her body was violated she mostly looked tired then. Weary of the world. Worried about the next aristocrat the king would hand her over to much later, freshened up, Aekeira laid on the bed, closing her eyes. My worst nightmare when I was younger was thinking I would be sold to an aristocrat in Kavar. But now, I almost wish that heartless king went ahead with it. Instead of changing his mind, Aekeira whispered. Please don't say that. Emiriel held her hand. That kingdom is a horror play. Anywhere is better than Kavar, sister. Well, except beyond the great mountain, of course. Just the thought made Emiriel shiver. The Urekai dwelled beyond those mountains. Sometimes I wish I could leave this godforsaken kingdom. A single tear slipped from Aekeira's eyes. Me too, Kira. Me too. That night, after bathing, Emiriel stood before the mirror, staring at his reflection. His long silken black hair fell over his shoulders, cascading like a waterfall. With his hair down like this, he looked like what he truly was. A girl. What would it feel like to live freely like the person the mirror reflected? To not live in fear of the next man who might seek to take advantage of him, like they do his sister. Emiriel fantasized about marrying the man of his dreams. A protector. Someone powerful enough to keep him safe, shield him from predators, and sweep him off his feet with immense strength and love. All delusion. But a sweet one, nonetheless. Reality was far too ugly. Shaking it off, he crawled into bed and closed his eyes, letting sleep take him. The dream began as it always did. The man filled the doorway, hidden in the shadows. He was big, larger and more masculine than any man Emiriel had ever seen. Tall like a giant, he made Emiriel feel small, like a cornered prey. Who are you? Emiriel's drowsy voice came out shaky, filled with fear. What do you want from me? You are mine, he said, voice deep as rolling thunder. Meant to be on your knees for me. On your back. To be fucked you so hard your legs quake. Drill into you until your holes are open, gaping for me. You were meant to beg for my dick all the time. Only mine. Emiriel's face burned with shock. So scandalized he scrambled upright. Why, you shouldn't say such improper things to me. It's wrong. But the mysterious man stepped into Emiriel's bedroom, emerging from the shadows. As he did, his body shifted into a beast, the most terrifying Emiriel had ever seen. A Urekai. Oh gods, oh gods. Emiriel's breath hitched in terror, panic setting in. Of all the shapeshifters in the world, why a Urekai? He advanced with purpose. Its glowing yellow eyes bore into Emiriel, filled with hunger. Shaking his head fiercely, Emiriel scrambled backward. No, no, no. Leave me alone, he shouted. Guards. Someone help. But no one came. The beast leapt onto the bed, got on top of Emiriel, trapping him under. Claws tore through his clothing. Emiriel's vulnerable female body was exposed to its yellow eyes. His powerful thighs forced Emiriel's apart, and a huge monster dick nudged his untouched feminine core and pushed in. Emiriel jolted awake with a scream. Body shaking and drenched in sweat, he glanced around the dark, empty room. It was just a dream, he whispered, trembling. Thank the gods. Just a dream. The same dream again. He'd had this dream for months now. He swallowed hard, running a shaky hand through his hair. Why do I keep having such a scary nightmare? It terrified Emiriel a lot. A Urekai. No one in this world prayed to meet a Urekai in their lifetime. Certainly not Emiriel. Yet, even with all the terror inside, the hotness of the dream lingered in his body. His feminine core felt different. Wet. What does this mean?